Already kept 721. I did one earlier, but I'll just redo it again because it was so long. No, it's ready. I'll try it that down. Okay, so I took I took one loss last night, Asia session, and then I took one loss, and then I took one break even this New York session. Just really quick. So last night, okay, so idea was since we're already rebouncing into like the midpoint of the range, obviously it's not EQ of it, at least with this high. Yeah, it wasn't EQ, but we're already at midpoint. I was getting towards the midpoint. So my idea was at least we were willing all this generated liquidity here. We're in this 15 minute, then we had a 1 hour as well, then we had the 4 hour, I think it was, or no, it was 1 hour, 30 minute, and a 15 minute that we were like rebalancing into a gap. And then we started rejecting off of this. My idea first was to long off of these lows, but I didn't want to really catch along because I didn't think we would end up moving higher. I thought we would end up displacing towards this 5 minute gap right here. Then on the higher time frame, it's just a big fat wick. And then obviously the slow, obviously not catching on move, but obviously piece of the move. So main draw was a rejection off of the higher time frame, 1 hour, 30 minute, 15 minute gap right here, rejection off of it. And obviously I wasn't planning on taking anything unless like it's very obvious. Obvious in the sense of okay, we have a good gap, we good risk, and yeah. So we end up having this internal SMT right here with DS. Nasdaq ends up sweeping into the midpoint of 15 minute. Sweeps is a previous high, so we have an internal SMT right there. Then the idea was we ended up having a flip of internal structure. Yes, it is chat, but then we're getting a split involving with this. I wasn't looking to enter anything there at all, but I was just looking at it based off of that. So we get this retracing back up into it, and then we get the 3 minute inversion off of this candle here. So I was like, okay. If neither way, this kind of should have came up and swept this high, then we'll probably reverse down. But if anything, this might be a good point to move right here and start to push this lower. So we get this 2 minute inversion. My idea was possibly go break even at this, just so like again, not risk anything on the table. But unfortunately, yeah, it ends up only end up getting like $80 and $100, and then ends up pumping up and it stops me out. But then we end up retracing into the whole range on ES as well. Actually, ends up touching the point that it was generating it even on the book map. And then we get this inversion here. I'm like, oh, okay. But I mean, I already locked down my account because I'm not one trade. I'm not gonna risk again. And then also this trade would end up taking that low, and that would have been again. It would have been a 1-2-1. But I mean, I would have got stopped at break even, or at least I probably would have closed out some profits to close something out. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. It happened there. But yeah, so that was my deal for their 3 minute to end targeting this 15 minute. At first I thought it was not mitigated, but it obviously was. So I feel like if this wasn't mitigated into it, if we just came lower, tapped on it right there, had relatively equal lows with this internal candle. I feel like that probably would have played out better to tap this and then move higher, or go lower, or whatever the case would have been. But I didn't end up playing that, and we end up just pumping overnight, just chopping, and then we end up hitting this high up here. Then yeah, we did whatever today happened. So that was sure to for there. That was like $500, so 25. So I did 1 2 50 points. So there was 500 to make 1,000. So yeah, that is. So now today's session, the idea was we have this 1 hour. No, we have this daily gap up here, and the idea was it's either we're gonna end up projecting off of this daily gap and reversing and continue going lower, or we're gonna end up doing the opposite, just sweeping out the previous session low and then going higher. So I was just waiting to see some sort of movement, whether we're going to go. The 15 minute ends up sweeping, and then the first 15 minute, well, market opens and it makes the first 15 minute candle. We end up already starting to reject off of it, and the 5 minute already starts rejecting and create some we might actually end up getting some sort of short here, depending how the market ends up looking. And what the entry ended up taking was just 1 minute, and then there's a 30 second right here as well. It's just a little same thing. I just don't want to keep going back and forth. But all it's like this 30 second here. My D was center off of this one and stopped there. But again, point wise, it wasn't the best. How I did ended up doing, I ended up entering like right here. Somewhere like right here then. My idea was to put my stop at this high, but I was ended up getting a fill here. And that's how I ended up explaining. But yeah, so the idea was this 30 second, and then we had this 1 minute right here. So I ended up inversing the 1 minute. I ended up getting like a fill. No, I think it was even down here that I got my fill. Yeah, I got my fill like down here somewhere. And then my stop was 30 points. So right here, I ended up getting stopped out by this candle. Then I entered again off a second candle. But yeah. So main bias for this, well, we have a higher time frame. Not higher time. Not higher time. Well, yeah, but we ended up having SMT right here internally with ES. ES doesn't end up taking out these relative equal highs here. If anything, we end up doing 3 equal highs. That's after this, I was thinking of longs, but I obviously took a loss, so I just locked it out. Never took trades. I'm like, yeah, but regardless whether this longs or not, I could have taken a risk, but I was like, yeah, let me just chill. And like, it's not worth it. It's just choppy. Yeah, we'll see. There was a good one that I was looking at right here for this one, and the restriction to this, but it wasn't. Again, it wouldn't be ideal to risk again after taking a loss for this, in my opinion. At least for me, because I lost this trade. But yeah. So we ended up sleeping the center. I'm okay, we're sleeping by side already, so either we're gonna end up rejecting a lower to end up taking out this previous session low or this low here. I think this was London low. Yeah, London low. But my idea was to target this unfilled area here as a 15-minute, 30-minute, 1 hour. At least that'd be a draw. Maybe not targeted, but at least a draw. Yeah, so higher time frame we sweep by side liquidity. We have sell side left below previous session, low below, left below. So entry was just as 1 minute inversion and stop. Should have been at this high here, but to be honest, I mean that's where I would have put it if I could have got a better entry. But I think, well, it wasn't bad because again, as soon as inversion kind of happened, that's when I enter. But I should have, to be honest, just waited. At least this would have got a retracement, and then I could have entered here, stopped either at this wick or this wick. Yeah, I would have most likely put it at that high, and then a 1 to 2. All right, so yeah, that would have hit full TP. But I would say that was the issue for today. Just bad, I guess, bad trade management. Should have just graded a bit more. But I mean, it was still good trade setup. It's just unfortunately didn't deliver instead of stopping me out and then delivering break even and getting stopped out, then coming down, then stopping out, then going. No, we had no good delivery. But I mean, to me, it was pretty obvious that we'd end up taking that top. At least that's the narrative I was pushing. And they had this 5 minute here at first. I thought it did inverse for some reason. I think I looked at the NQ chart. Maybe it inversed some there on my other chart. But yeah, I was either thinking this is either going to sponsor us or this pushes higher or not. But yeah, so that was this trade. The 4 minute inversion got stopped out by this week. Ended up entering again right here. So then I put my stop at this high. And then this one ended up running break even. I wanted to close it, but I'm like, let me just take it to the low, somewhere around there at this low. For my 1 2, it was 1 2. I don't know exactly why, yeah, but it was a 1 2, and then, but either way, it would have got break even again for like 3 times in a row. But I wanted to close it here, but I was like, now let me actually let it play through, which I should have cut. Which that's what I need to do more. Because at times it's for me that I've been doing this whole time is normally it's either TP, stop loss, or break even. And sometimes I do cut profits in between, but sometimes I don't. Because I'm like, yeah. Because I mean, for me, backtesting the odds of it hitting break even is because it was gonna like either stop me at break even and blast it to the opposite side, or normally hit CP. At least from every time I've backtested. Like this is like the rare occasion where it stops me break even and it just chops and then the hitting CP. At least from my backtesting sessions, which I haven't done in a while. I mean, like for like a month. But yeah, so I wouldn't say it's a bad trade. Just not the best execution, but we'll see. We'll see the rest of this week. If not, I'll probably be done, to be honest. At least Wednesday, because Wednesday we should have some volume. It's Wednesday's the expansion day, I guess. But yeah, and Thursday is I believe. Oh no, tomorrow. Oh, transfers at 12. Okay, that's good. The 5:30 unemployment. So if anything, I probably won't even trade Wednesday either. Well, I mean, I'm see what happens. But if anything, I'm just trying to wait till Thursday for unemployment. I'm assuming if there can be some sort of data week, that'll be better. But obviously, if they're not, then if there's nothing on Thursday, then I'm just gonna call it there for this week, and then we'll see what happens next week. But yeah, so that's the trade recap for today. And it was total of a loss for 1100. Like 5 last night, and then 6 right now. No, it was like 11:30 something like that. So, and I'm still up to technically the buffer. It's just I'm technically down 200 or 300. Well, I'm down that much, but with the buffer as well, yeah, because I had 900 in profit. So I was up like a band. Technically three. And I haven't traded the TPT one because I mean this price action hasn't been the best. I'm trying to be very, very with that one, very picky with the trades. I would say some trades I could have taken. I'm just not because I'm on this one. I'm on the Lucid one. I'm on the phone on the other one. But either way, I'm trying to be very picky with that one, just to trade 1-to-1s, nothing else. And the next week is going to be stacked on news because it's the last week of the month. It's normally where we get what is it, CPI and employment claims as well. I see. So Wednesday, federal fund, FOMC statement, and GDP, of course. Yeah. So it's more stacked on news. So more, I'm gonna wait for next week for that one, CBT one, unless like, there's something good tomorrow or Thursday. Then I'll leave it at that. But yeah, that's the trade recap for today.